And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at a game called Feuville. Now this is a game in which you are building a feudal city and a dragon is burning it down consistently. I mean, it's really annoying how this dragon keeps coming. But this is a game in which you are going to be building a town and trying to meet certain criteria so that you can score points. It has a nice little visual effect to it. Let me show you. The goal of this game is to get the most points, as many games are, and you're doing so by building a town and often by completing King's Decrees. In fact, the King's Decree pile, when this is over, is going to be what signals the end of the game. On your turn, you're going to take 2 dice and you're going to roll those dice. If you roll doubles, the dragon attacks, and I'll talk about that later, and then you roll again. But if you roll 2 different numbers, you can use those numbers to activate the people down here from 1 to 6. Or you can put any die up here to activate a fairy, or if you really wanted to do something specific down at the bottom, you can take both dice, put them up here by the grumpy goblin, and turn him into any person you want. Or you can do a town evaluation with 1 die. When you activate a person, you can take one of the tiles that's above them. You can take any of the 3 tiles that you want, or you can take the King's Decree and evaluate that if you can possibly pull it off. When you take these tiles, you can, whether you take the decree or these, you can immediately put it into your town, or you can save it. You have a spot to save 2 tiles, whether they're building tiles or whether they're decree tiles. Here, you can only have 2 saved, or you put it in your town. Each person's going to start with a starting town spot. So let's look over here and look at my starting town spot. So if I get this one here, for example, I can put this like this. Later on, I can add a cloud to it, like that. You do not refill these when these are taken until an entire row is gone. When an entire row is gone, then we draw off the top of these decks and put things out. And you can see that while they were all single clouds there at the beginning, there's all sorts of things will show up as time goes by. So that's one thing you can do when you put the number in a person. Take one of the tiles above them, or you can take the special action of that person. This guy here is a gambler, essentially. You'll take a die and you'll roll it, and you can keep rolling it, and adding the pips together. So far I have 4, 5, 6, 11. Oh well, I was trying to get to 10. See, however many pips I get, that's how many points I get unless I go over 10. So let's say I had stopped, let's say I'm roll, and I go 6. I'll stop at 6. I'll get 6 points, but everyone else gets the difference. So they'll get 4 points from 10. So if I roll 6, I don't want to, that's basically just 2 points. I'll roll again. 12. Now I've busted it, and everyone else gets a difference from 10. 12 minus 10 is 2, so everyone gets 2 points, and I get nothing. So your goal for 8, that's not a bad one. I get 8 points, everyone else gets 2. So that's what you do when you take his special ability. Here, you can steal a tile from somebody else that they have kept up in here, and either add it to your town or put it in your area. This guy likes to party, and with him, you get to take a tile, any tile you want from the board, and then everyone else gets to take a tile in turn order, and then you get an extra tile. So you get 2 tiles, but everyone else gets 1. This person lets you immediately fill one of the rows and then take a tile of your choice. This person lets you, the king lets you take a decree up here at the top. And the wizard lets you flip over 2 of your burned columns after the dragon attacks and take one of these magic tokens up here. Remember, any die can get you a magic token, which might be some points, might provide you protection against a dragon attack, might provide you protection against someone stealing one of your tiles, or basically fill rows and different things like that. So, when you're building your town, like I said, you're going to be building it, and you have to start from the bottom up, and so slowly but surely over time, you're going to build a town. Whenever the dragon attacks, he's going to try to burn a town up. And he will burn as long as you have, he will hurt your town unless you have more clouds or same number of clouds as a number of columns. Here I'm in trouble. I have 1 cloud and 2 columns, so 2 of these are burned over. I can't build on top of these. They're worth nothing to me. However, the wizard can make these come back. He can flip over 2 columns like this. You can always play this if the dragon attacks to stop the dragon from burning your village. Or if later on, let's say this has been burned down And I'm building like this, and I build this, and now I have 3 clouds. 3 clouds allows me to have 3 columns, so I can flip this over like that. Now, these are when you score. Decrees are one of the main ways to score. When you take a decree, you can score it right away or save it and score it later. This one here, for example, gives me 2 points for every soldier. 2, 4, 6, 8, so that'd be worth 8 points. This one here gives me 5 points as long as I have a completed column. That's pretty easy, so I can just do that. But when I do that, I put grass underneath the column to show that that column has been evaluated and can't score again. There's even one that lets you do it if you have 2 columns next to each other to take 10. Some will score the number of these items in a single 2x2 block. This one, for example, gives you 3 for every griffin. So if I had my town looking like this, I'd be pretty happy because it's 12 points. Or 1 for every flag. They score the towers. There's also a town evaluation. To get the town evaluation to work, you need 2 towers. So a tower looks like this. And then they need to be next to a gate. So let me find the gate in here. So, oh, that is the gate there at the bottom. So if I have a gate next to 2 towers. So let's say I have a tower here and a tower next to it over here, and a gate. And everything else doesn't really matter that much, but as long as I have this set up here, I can take one of these King's Decrees with any dice, and then I get 2 points for every set of 2 tiles in my thing. So I want to make sure I have a nice big set going, and you can score 2 points. That's pretty much the game, folks. You're just going to keep going and scoring points. At the end of the game, whoever has done the least King's Decrees is going to get an extra 7 points because the king just feels sorry for them. You add up the points, most points is the winner of the game. Part of the appeal to this game is how fun it looks, right? You're building this city in front of you. That's a neat thing. It looks really cool. And what's interesting to me is how they manage every tile practically is different. So you can see these are both 2 cloud tiles, but they're different. And these are both 2 griffins. And again, different artwork on each one. So that's a big plus. The tiles themselves are good quality. There certainly is a lot of them in this game. The different, ways to score points, they're very clear. It's not really hard. I mean, this might be the most confusing one. 1 point for each of those symbols in a 2x2 block. And you pick one of these and you're going to score 3 points for that. But other than that, I mean, there's a little chalice that comes for the first player. The dice are kind of boring looking, but they're big and they roll well. So I'm pretty happy with it. And the board itself is just a really nice looking board with good artwork on it. Very good components. So the thing about Feuville is you got to realize at first this is a family style game. It's a family weight game. It's an easy, light game that you shouldn't really put too much thought into. Initially, it's like, wow, this game is super random. And at first I thought, wait a minute. It seems like if you go first and you build a building and someone else rolls doubles, the dragon burns it down right away. You didn't even have time to get a cloud thing. But you know what? You can take those initial buildings and you don't have to build them. You can store them, keep them safe from the dragon, and put them out later. And there are multiple ways to stop the dragon. A dragon's going to come out in doubles, and it happens a lot. And at first I thought, I don't know about this dragon here. He just seems to come out often, and he's burning it down. If it burns down, how do you recover? Well, the fact is it's easy to recover. The wizard is a 6, which happens, 1 out of 3 rolls usually for you if you want. Or you can just take the wizard by using both dice, which not only unflips your buildings, but gives you one of those magic tokens, which just might be protect from the dragon's attack. And so I found that to be not too big of a deal. And sometimes you just don't care if the dragon burns your stuff down. Like, I'm not scoring that right now anyway. I'm going to continue to build up. And then eventually you can get one of those clouds with maybe a 3 cloud and suddenly your buildings magically heal. I'm not sure about the theming of that. But the scoring works really well. That gambling one, at first you're like, wow, that seems pretty powerful. I can get 10 points. Sure, if you roll 10 exactly. That doesn't happen very often. And more often than not, you will bust or you'll get to 7 and you'll go, all right, I'll take 7 points, but everyone else gets 3. So you really only got 4 points. So it's not that good, but it's exciting and it's fun to do. And then also because the number 3 person, I very rarely see people use the thief, by the way. It's usually stealing from someone else. It's usually better to build your own. But the number 3 where you build something and everyone else, that's constantly happening. So people are constantly like, oh, this is great. Let's all, I get to build even on someone else's turn. And so the towns are going to slowly build and come to life. This game is not complex. Like I said, there's like 4 or 5 different magic tiles. There's 4 or 5 different scoring tiles. You have to know, should I score something now or wait till later when it's more points? But if I wait till later, I have to use up one of my 2 save slots, which I'd prefer to put a building in. The part of the game is the joy of watching your own thing come. And also the agony of when the dragon comes and burns part of it down. Or when the dragon comes and burns nothing down. Or when you score that big giant town, you can get a lot of points from that. The game is good. The only negative thing is I'm not sure that whoever finished the fewest King's Decrees gets 7 points at the end. That seems kind of like a, who cares? I don't, it's a catch-up mechanism of some degree. Why should that person get extra points? I don't know. I would have dropped that rule, I suppose. But other than that, the game looks great. It's fun. Doesn't take long to play. And I'm really surprised it hasn't gotten more buzz. Feuville, I really like it. Dice Tower Judgment, approved!
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.